So last week, EA Sports announced that their deal with FIFA is no longer going to exist after this year, 2022. And after 2022, they'll be working with the clubs, like the leagues, like the La Liga, the Serie A, the Bundesliga, Liga MX, MLS. So it's going to be games suited towards clubs. It's no longer going to be EA Sports games related to global teams, national teams. I don't know what happened between EA Sports and FIFA, but one thing I do know, FIFA announced that they're going to be making their own game. I don't know what company they're going to be working with, but FIFA and EA Sports, no more after this year. And that's why last week we saw an announcement from many MLS clubs and other clubs worldwide saying, I'm basically tweeting, we're in this club. Basically, that's their official announcement saying that they're going to be on EA Sports, the EA Sports FC. EA Sports FC is just going to be club-based, different clubs from different leagues. And it actually might be more interesting because instead of looking at soccer from just a country or a continental aspects, we will be exposed to the numerous clubs that's available in different countries, different cities, and different states. But one thing I would like for EA Sports FC to be is to be educational, like the Madden video games. One of the reasons why rugby style football became very popular in America was not only due to the cable networks broadcasting the games every Sunday, but there's also the Madden video game aspect of it. See, the thing that made the Madden video game very interesting and very popular and what attracted people who knew nothing about rugby style football like me to it wasn't really the entertainment aspect. It was more so the educational aspect of the game. You see, little kids like me, who was a little kid at the time where Madden started becoming popular, like at the time, we outsiders, those who didn't play in the NFL, we didn't have access to multiple offensive and defensive playbooks. Like when we saw football games on TV, we were just watching it and we had no clue what was going on. But Madden opened our minds and it exposed us to an aspect of the game that we had no clue of. And that's learning playbooks, learning different positions and what they're supposed to do on each play. And that was on the offensive and defensive side. When you played a Madden video game that was created by EA Sports, like you had access to a variety of offensive and defensive playbooks. And the good thing about Madden, like each team had their own playbook. Now, was some of it similar? Yes, a lot of it was similar, but each team has something different that separated it from each other. And that gave people like me who didn't know much about rugby style football an opportunity to learn about the game and to learn what a running back is supposed to do at a certain play and to learn what direction the offensive line is supposed to block and to learn what gap that the linebacker supposed to blitz and what part of the field that the strong safety and the free safety, what part of the field they cover. Madden taught me all of that. And the thing that I want this EA Sports FC game to be, I want it to be just as educational as Madden was. Because right now, I've only been watching traditional football for like 2.5 seasons. And there are still times when I'm watching the matches and I have no clue what's going on. For the most part, I know on offense, players are passing the ball to each other, trying to keep the ball away from the defender in order for them to score. And at times I see players like running, I wouldn't say routes, but they're going in certain directions that will enable them to get the ball in the box to try to score. I'm also learning that corner kicks is a good opportunity for the offense to headbutt the ball inside the goal in order to score. Those are just some of the few things that I'm starting to learn. But there's still a lot of times when I'm watching the game and I have no clue, absolutely no clue what's going on. And there's a lot of moments in the game where it's just dull. Like, especially like after the first 20 minutes of a match, it's like between the 20-minute and the 40-minute section or part of the match, it seems like nothing is going on. It just seems like players are kicking the ball back and forth. But with this EA Sports game, hopefully there can be an educational aspect to it, like the way Madden was, where the spectators, people who want to learn more about the game, they can gain some knowledge and learn what are the jobs of the different positions that are on the field. Like, what is the job of the defensive midfielder? What is the job of the center back? What is the job of the forward? What is the job of the goalie? Hopefully EA Sports FC can be educational just like that. One of the reasons why the NFL became more popular is because the Madden video game was very educational, and it helped people get an idea, a better understanding of how the game is supposed to be played. Like, Madden showed you the different wide receiver routes. They show you the different D linemen, the gaps that they're supposed to blitz in or run through. It taught viewers the responsibility of each position on the field. And that's something that I want EA Sports FC to do. Another aspect I liked about the EA Sports Madden game was the franchise mode, because it gave spectators and kids who wanted to learn about the business aspect of the game. Like, well, I want to say kids who wanted to learn about it, but it automatically gave us knowledge of how the business aspect of the game operated in the off-season mode. There are some times as a kid that when I played Madden, I looked forward to the off-season mode more than the on-season mode. I actually enjoyed playing the off-season mode more than the on-season. Like, I like the idea of free agency and the NFL combine and scouting players, drafting players, firing coaches, hiring coaches. Like, the franchise mode truly gave us an idea of the business aspect of the game. And it taught us why teams can't just freely add and subtract players and coaches from the roster, because there's the salary cap, there's the money aspect of it. So hopefully EA Sports FC can also have a franchise mode, some type of franchise mode, or I don't know if they'll be called dynasty mode, franchise mode, or dynasty mode, where we learn about the business aspect of the game. We learn about how the transfer market works in global football, and the designated player contracts. And we learn about general allocation money and targeted allocation money. Hopefully there's a franchise mode that teaches the viewer all of that, because Madden had all of that available for NFL games, and it helped people to learn more about the game. It helped people to get a better understanding of the game overall, just not the on the field aspect of the game, but also the business aspect of the game. So I like this idea of EA Sports FC, and me personally, I don't want to say never, but I haven't really been like dedicated to playing video games like on a consistent daily basis for a long time. And if this game comes out, I might consider getting back into gaming, because the same way that I learned about rugby style football through Madden, which was also created by EA Sports, it's the same way that I want to learn about traditional football. And I strongly believe that EA Sports, they have the ability to not only entertain you, but to also educate you. So I like this idea of EA Sports FC. Hopefully it's educational. I mean, the entertainment aspect, of course, the entertainment aspect will be there. Well, hopefully it'll be educational and it'll teach us how to run a traditional football team the same way EA Sports taught us how to run an NFL team. And also, I also want to know who's going to be the voice of EA Sports FC, because in Madden, you have Madden. Madden was the voice of the NFL games. When you play the NFL games, you always heard Madden's voice. And while you're playing the games, he also gave commentary. I think in America, America needs its own American soccer. American soccer needs its John Madden. American soccer needs that voice who doesn't only know the game, but somebody who loves the game and is willing to teach us the game at a down to earth level. Like, talk to us like we're kindergartners. Because there's a lot of Americans, there's a lot of spectators who really want to get into soccer. But when they watch the game, they have absolutely no clue what's going on. They just think that the ball's being kicked back and forth, and then eventually, hopefully, the ball will get in an area where a player can kick in there and score. But it's much bigger than that. The game is much more schematic than that. And we need somebody who is willing to educate us on that. Let us know what is going on during every aspect of the game. The thing that made John Madden great for the NFL, he was willing to educate and tell the average listener with no football background what was going on. And he made it sensible. So American soccer needs something like that. American soccer needs that voice. And for that voice, I nominate Taylor Twellman.
I dedicated over 10,000 hours, and I never listened to the doubters. I had to cut out all the BS, hit the refresh, now I feel so empowered. I dedicated over 10,000 hours.